Hello, and welcome back to Geeks Unleashed. We have returned after a short break, and I have managed to find and locate her with her horse, drunk in a bar, with her cowboy hat. That's right, Jasmine is back.
I have none of those things. Maybe the drug in the bar part, but not the horse or the cowboy hat.
No, you had. I found you. I found you with the lasso and all the rest of it, and I
This
was like,
sounds like a Clint Eastwood movie that I have not seen.
and I said, "Come on, Jasmine, you've got to come back. It's time."
Yeah, Mark pulled me off the 310 to Yuma. Apparently, that's
Yeah,
where he found me.
yeah. That's right. That's right. So, yeah. It's throwing me off now. Anyway, do you know what? When I was prepping for today, I was like, "Fuck, man, I forgot what I'm doing." So, right, we are also joined by a guest this evening, all the way from Bristol. Tom, you are now the second Englishman to actually be on this show. I have been surrounded by Americans for the last 5 years, and the odd Irish and Australian. So
No, happy to be
now I'm
here, guys.
outnumbered.
Hey,
I said, now I'm outnumbered.
now you're outnumbered. Now you're outnumbered. Tom, we've got to find more English people. Where are they? Where are these?
I know, where are they
geeks?
all at?
Where are they?
Yeah,
Where are
no, but thanks for having me, guys. I've been looking forward to this. So, no, I'm happy to witness the reunion as well. So, nice to see.
Before we jump into anything, what I was sort of, well, me and Jasmine and Tom were speaking the other day. We kind of gave Tom a bit of history of Geeks Unleashed. And I know on the last show, I did give a bit of a history of Geeks Unleashed. Now, I know if you're listening on a podcast, this is going to be meaningless to you, what I'm about to do next. But I'm going to flick to a little presentation. And so just, you can go back and listen to the last episode with me and Devon and Jasmine, where we talked about the history of Geeks Unleashed, how it started as a website, probably about, let's say, like 14 years ago or something, and then it ran for, I think, like somewhere between 4 and 5 years, and then Jasmine came in halfway through. But during that time as well, there was some logos that we used.
Oh dear, I remember that one.
And this was the first ever logo that we used. So our website was geeksunleashed.me. I don't own it anymore. I gave it up.
But for the longest time, you had been going by Geeks Unleashed Me.
Yeah. Initially, it was Geeks Unleashed Me, and then in the end, and then I dropped the me bit. Like, I didn't like that bit. And anyway, these were our little original mascots. So these are our original robots that we have. So there's a robot on our icon now. These are our original little icons. So the guy with the lightsaber there.
What's going on with the robot that has like the curly afro? Like who is that guy? Like who is that based on? Because I can see the Ninja Turtle and Batman, and there's a Jedi, but who is this guy?
I don't know. He's the drunk guy at the bar. Like, he's the drunk robot.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had these were the original mascots. These were designed by a guy called Imran. He very kindly designed these. So by the way, this original logo was completely done by me and some font somewhere I found on the internet. This was done by a guy called Imran, and then that was kind of a slightly updated version of the lightsaber dude. Got some little 3D effects going on.
This looks like it was done in Microsoft Paint. Do you remember Microsoft Paint?
Yes.
So I took that original thing that Imran done, and I ran this through something on an iPad. I cannot remember what it was, but I did something on an iPad with that. Right, okay. Then this was our first proper professional.
This one I remember very well.
Very nice one.
Yeah, that was basically taken from the last dude who was on the iPad. That's why the coloring's there. That was a professional. That was actually an English guy who did that somewhere. I want to say like Manchester way, and I cannot remember his name. But yeah, he designed this randomly. Well, not randomly, like I asked him to. And then this is the logos that we're much more familiar with. So
those are the ones that Steven did.
Yeah, these are the ones that Stephen Fox did. So Stephen designed the robot that we still use now, and then he threw these really cool fonts and stuff together. I have been pestering him for a while to do some more stuff, but then we kind of I tweaked these myself. So the all new, all different was what we used while Jasmin was away, and the one on the left is kind of what I've been using more recently and kind of gone back to. Although I have gone back to what was in the corner now with the robot. I brought the robot back out. I don't know.
You picked the robot when you were doing the original concepts anyway.
To be honest with you, it was just some sort of mascot. Like, kind of thought it'd be cool to have a little, because it was Geeks Unleashed, and it was like a little. I think that's why we ended up with all these like random ones. Hold on, let me go back to it. That's why we ended up with all these random ones, and I kind of like didn't really know too much what to do with them. And it's kind of, I think it's cool, a cool little thing to have a little robot, like a little mascot. So, and yeah, that's it really. I just thought it'd be cool to kind of, you know, over the last 14 years, yeah, I'll go back to the screen now. Over the last 14 years,
such a long time.
Obviously there was the website, then there was a huge gap, then there was COVID, which brought Geeks Unleashed back.
With less work for us, thankfully.
Yeah. And yeah, we said this to Tom, like when we had the website, probably during the time it ran, well over 100 writers must have wrote for the website at one point or another, but regularly we had at least 30 writers. And then it just became too much, and we sort of
that was a lot.
Called it a day.
And it was a lot of fun. It was big enough at one point that I actually got a press pass to go to New York Comic Con. I went to New York Comic Con in 2014.
Oh wow!
As press for Geeks Unleashed, and I got to interview the cast of Sleepy Hollow. We talked to the cast of Black Sails, a couple of other people. It was really fun. Like, it was
that sounds really cool.
Comic convention, and I was like, yes.
Yeah, like what a cool experience. That's awesome.
Yeah, the website was, it was pretty good. There was a lot of writers that used to get press passes. I think somebody went to San Diego. Oh yeah, we had a couple of people go to San Diego Comic Con, press passes for that.
Oh, God.
I got some press passes for what was something called, they don't run it anymore, but the London Super Comic Convention. There's a few people that got stuff. There was some girls that used to, actually we did have some people that were based in the UK up north in Liverpool. They went to some convention up there, so there was quite a lot going on. Basically the website was putting out something like 10 articles a day. That's how big it was. And in the end I was like, I just can't do this anymore. I was just like, it'd become another job, and it wasn't kind of what I started it to be, which was to have fun and talk about geeky shit. It was like, I'm here now managing content, and this is just, anyway. So I just thought it'd be cool to run through 14 years, and during those 14 years, we've had many people supporting the show. You know, the first ever person who came on board was a guy called Stephen Hardman, and he helped from sort of the start to the finish when it was the website. There was a guy called Joe Edwards. He came in pretty quickly. Stephen Fox came in.
I remember both Stephen and Joe.
Yeah. And everyone was like really helpful. And then obviously it became a podcast. And then during the last 5 years, Stephen Fox, the first 12 months, Stephen was on a lot. Then midway through Devon, we've had some regular guests as well. Obviously Steph helped out quite a lot last year. But yeah, we've had just a really, really like great time with so many people over the last 14 years. Every now and again we throw in a break. We're not professionals, we're not paying, it's enjoyment. We like to have a bit of a break here and there.
Of course.
I don't see the show ever really going away. But when we first started the podcast 5 years ago, because it was COVID times, we kind of just reviewed whatever we wanted to review. And then Jasmin took on 2 jobs, and she was like, I don't want to give up the show, but I'm taking on 2 jobs. So we changed the format a little bit so we could just review stuff that was kind of more home-based with the odd cinema trip. And then I think we said this before we took a break just at the start of January, was that when we come back, we're going to make it a little bit more free format again. So just for everyone listening and watching, we're going to be doing Geek of the Week, and we're going to do the news still, and then we're still going to do a movie review, but we're a bit more fluid now. We won't necessarily stick to adaptations. So all right, I just thought I'd bring everyone up to where we are. Tom is happy to come along for the ride. You'll see him a little bit more regularly. Devon will equally be around a lot more regularly. Stephen Fox, if we can find him, will show up here and there.
It's like a where's Waldo when it comes to Stephen.
Yeah. Stephen shows up about 3 times a year now, but don't get me wrong, we still nag him throughout the year. And then we've actually got a guest lined up for next week, and we'll talk about that as we end the show. So, and with that in mind, we are going to jump into Geek of the Week. Right, okay. So for anyone that's brand new to Geeks Unleashed, Geek of the Week is something that we've done on our own, any of the 3 of us, as it's 3 of us on the show, and it's something that we've done that we've enjoyed on our own. So Tom, as it's your first time on Geeks Unleashed, is there anything that you've done this week that you would like to shout out about?
Yeah, so I was having to think when you told me about this one. So I've read quite a lot of books this week, enjoyable books, and watched a lot of films. But one that I'd say stood out that I'd like to maybe talk about is watched a film on Netflix. Actually, I think I spoke to you about this briefly, Mark. It was a film called It's What's Inside.
Oh, yeah, you messaged me about it.
Yeah. So that released in 2024, I believe. And ever since I saw the poster for it, I had my eye on it. Like just the poster alone intrigued me. And I was hearing good reviews about how it was quite a trippy film and very well shot, and light and color play like quite a significant part in the film. And so there's a lot of interesting factors. For some reason, it took me 2 years to actually dive into it, but there we go. But yeah, I finally got around to it, and it really was. I really enjoyed it. It was really well crafted, really well made. It's an interesting plot. It's a twisty, turny little story, and I definitely recommend it to the viewers watching. I recommend it to you guys as well if you haven't seen it.
I think I looked it up. Who's in it? Who's the cast?
To be honest, it was for me. It was a lot of new faces, but there was a lot of cool standout performances. I can't recall anyone that stood out, but in terms of like a known name, but it was quite a low key cast. But yeah, everyone delivered. It's one of those kind of one location films where the character and the characterization of these characters and the dialogue is very heavy and important. And there's characters you hate, characters you love. Like it's got that dynamic, so it's fun.
Oh, I just looked it up. Alicia Denham Carey, who's an Australian actress. She was in Fear the Walking Dead. Okay. She actually, it's really weird that looked that up just now. Like she was in a miniseries I watched this week called Apple Cider Vinegar, which is based off of another bloody scam artist who pretended to have cancer and scam loads of people for money in Australia. It's a true thing. She came out with
I watched a documentary about that lady, but I've not seen the movie about it.
Oh no, it was a mini-series. It was 6 episodes. It's got the girl from who's the Last of Us. She's going to be the main star of season 3. Abby, who's going to play Abby. That's annoying. I've forgotten her name. But I love Alicia Denham. Carey. She, I think she's a great actress. I enjoyed her in the Fear the Walking Dead. She's a pretty strong actress. But that apple cider vinegar, man, like it just made me think, just throw my another don't know, I know that I might get shot saying this, but another white millennial girl scamming people, like that's it. Caitlin Dever is star of Apple Cider Vinegar. But yeah, I watched that this week. But no, yeah, I've got that. I've added that movie to my watch list the other day when you recommended it.
Yeah, definitely recommend it. I think it's a don't have to take it too serious. Just a fun movie with a really interesting plot, and it's trippy. It's fun.
Yeah. And Jasmin, as you're back, what is your geek of the week?
So I've been on my walking pad a lot more, and that means if I'm on my walking pad, I'm usually watching either Netflix or Crunchyroll. And so I've been watching this anime lately. It's called Isekai Office Worker. The Otherworld books depends on the bean counter. And basically it is the stupidest thing. It's like this guy gets sucked into this other world. He's trying to help save a girl from getting stuck in this portal and then winds up in the portal himself. And in the other world, he does pretty much the same thing that he does in his, on Earth, I guess. And he's like this accounting guy, but basically just like a corporate drone. It's the running joke of the series. That's what they call him. So then he comes to this other world and works in the palace accounting department. But the problem is they summoned that girl because she's supposed to be their holy maiden and save their whole kingdom. And he just kind of fell into the portal. So he has no power and he has no magic abilities. And so the only way that he can be like protected against all of this magic is one of the knights has to sleep with him in order to give him like this magical resistance. So it is a series about a magical knight who sleeps with this guy who's from another dimension. And like, anyway, it's basically slice of life, but it is hilarious. It's really cute. I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, I put it on while I'm on my walking pad. So it's just one of those things to kind of get me through my little 20-minute sessions while I'm getting my steps in. But I've definitely been enjoying it.
Oh, amazing. I need to get a walking pad. That's something I look at.
Walking pad. It's so great because like I watch Netflix or whatever on my pad. So it's like I don't feel as much of a couch potato because I'm getting some steps in while I'm watching TV.
Do you have that in like your living room? Just
yeah, it's in my living room.
Yeah. I don't think I could do, some people have a raised desk and they have a walking pad underneath. I don't think I could do that. That'd be like, the whole
that's
you would have to walk really slow, like super, super slow. You can't walk fast doing it that way. But I know a lot of people, like my boss actually keeps hers under her desk and she gets like 13,000 steps a day.
I mean, I get that anyway, but I've got a dog. So, I think I would rather have it in the living room. Maybe I'll consider that. My geek of the week is something that I did a few hours ago. The Bride, release date, 2-day. Maggie Gyllenhaal film, produced, directed, and written, starring Christian Bale and flipping heck, Jessie Buckley. What an actress she is! I've seen her in a couple of films. I'll be honest. I saw her in a film a few years ago on Netflix, and I've forgotten the name of it. But this year, I've seen her in Hamnet and The Bride. That girl, man, big things are going to happen for that girl. She was so good in this film. I can't describe how good this film is. Mainly just driven by her. She outshone Christian Bale so badly in this film. Like, don't get me wrong, it's The Bride. He probably was pulled back a little bit anyway, but she was so good. I just ate this film up. I was honestly loving every part of it. I truly hope they don't have a sequel. I want them just to leave it as it is. I know what Hollywood's like. If it does well, they'll make another one, but there's no need. This is a great one and done film.
I think we need more of those. More one and done. Yeah.
And having Frankenstein last year on Netflix, well, I did watch it in the cinema because they had a week thing in the cinema. But having Frankenstein come out in November or December, and then having The Bride follow a few months later, typical Hollywood. You know how they love to do films at the same time, like Deep Impact, Armageddon. It's obviously somebody must have heard about Frankenstein. They were like, oh, we've got to make our own Frankenstein. But this is cool. I liked this. It was very Bonnie and Clyde. There's another thing it reminds me of. I won't say what it is because they actually used the line right at the very end of the film. But it's just such a good film. Honestly, watch it.
No, I'm actually really glad to hear you say that. I was waiting to hear what you thought, because I'm booked to go see it tomorrow, and I've been excited to catch it. So yeah, raised my expectations a little bit. So
it's good. It's a good film. It's different at the moment. Look, it's only March. It's in my top 10 at the minute. We'll see how the year goes, but it's definitely in my top 10 at the minute.
I feel like it's actually been quite a good start to the year. Usually, kind of January gets quite a lot of stick, and it's usually slow starts to the year. But I feel like we've got some good films so far.
Yeah, last year was a slow start to the year, but this year has been a really good year for cinema already.
Yeah,
I've probably been to the cinema at least twice a week since January.
The last movie I saw in theaters was the Jujutsu Kaisen movie. I think that was like November.
I was there on Monday. I saw Glenn. What's his name? Glenn
Powell.
Yeah, Glenn Powell. Yeah. I saw his How to Make a Killing on Monday. That was really good. 3 out of 5, maybe 3.5 out of 5. Still good though. Glenn Powell is a great actor. But I'm also there tomorrow for a film that's really been on my list this year, Peaky Blinders. I am there for that film. Oh, that is going to be good. That needed a film. That TV series is so good, honestly. That's like one of my favorite shows. Me and my wife quote it all the time. Can't say any of the quotes on here, but they all involve a lot of swearing. But there's one particular scene we quote just before he gets married at the end of season 2 in the kitchen. If anyone that's a fan of Peaky Blinders, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's just, I can't wait for that. It's been a good year for cinema already, basically.
Busy.
Not Scream though. Right. Me and Tom were having, well, Tom has different feelings on Scream, but we'll talk about that another time. Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I've slept on it now, you know.
Oh, okay. Save it for
for sure.
Right, okay. We're now going to move into Geek News. Geek News is where I'm going to talk about anything that's happened in the last few days or 7 days. It could be movie or comics or TV or whatever. However, this week, just going to keep it simple, and we're going to have a look at what I would consider 2 hot trailers for this week.
All right.
Let's do it.
My power is absolute.
Season 5 of The Boys. This had me pumped, man.
No one's even dreamed of.
I think I'm stuck on season 2. I haven't watched
destiny.
after season 2.
Me too.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
me too.
good. I caught up after season 2.
And what is it?
All right, let's get to work, yeah?
We think that Homelander is looking for the V1.
It's Thought's first iteration of Compound V. If Homelander got his hands on some, he'd be immortal.
We need to run while we can, however we can.
We hit him with the virus while it still works.
And kill every fucking suit on the planet.
I need you.
Father.
Did you fuck me?
What?
Is this some kind of incest thing?
No.
Then what the fuck is this?
We need Repair America for my ascension.
You want a bus now?
Well, if you can't beat him, join him. Then fuck it, beat him.
This is our last chance. The only thing we have left is hope.
It's beta male shit, bro. War, am I right?
Those who seek to destroy me, the non-believers and backstabbers. I offer oblivion.
Carl Urban.
I have no idea how we got here. Like I said, season 2 was the last season I watched, so I'm missing out on a lot.
Yeah, like
Last year I went back. Last year I actually binge watched through, because I was the same as you. I'd stopped at season 2. Last year I went and watched season 3 and 4 of The Boys and Gen V season 1 and 2. So good. I'm glad I did it. I did it in like a month. I did like a season a week or whatever. It's so good. Honestly, catch up. It only gets worse for these people. That's just, just watch it. Anthony Starr, what a great villain.
oh, I was gonna say Anthony Starr and Carl Urban is so good.
I'm a huge. It's weird because I loved Banshee. You loved Banshee, right? Didn't you?
Banshee is phenomenal television. It's so good.
Banshee was just, honestly, like, I should rewatch that at some point. Banshee was one of the best TV shows up there. And I'm a huge Anthony Starr fan from that. I think I've only seen this and The Boys with him in it, but Anthony Starr, I'm there for you, man.
Yeah, I've not.
What-
I have to look out for that Banshee. I'll have to check that out. I've not seen
Oh,
that.
it's fantastic. Oh, it's so good. It used to be on, it was like a Cinemax original
Yeah, that's
series.
it.
I
Yeah.
think it went for 3 or 4 seasons, maybe 5.
Well, see, I think it was 4.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not very long, but it's really good. It's got phenomenal fight choreography. Like whoever their stunt coordinators were for that series, I mean, it's just like chef's kiss. Like it's so, the fight sequences are so good.
Oh man, that sounds up my street. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I'll keep my eye out for that.
Man, it was so brutal. It was just like it was.
And
yeah.
everyone in the series is really great. Like, yeah, Anthony is a standout, but like all of the bad guys, like there's one bad guy that's super great, and then you had this crazy chick. Her name was Nola. Oh my god! Like the way that she, it's so good. Like the fight sequences, it's hyper violent, just like The Boys, but it's really, really good.
Oh, Kai Proctor.
No, not Kai. It was
No. But I'm shouting him out. Like, what a great villain!
Yeah.
Kai
Kai
Proctor
was a really good bad guy.
Kai Proctor was like the leader of this like cult that lived out on the like edges of the town, and he was
Amish.
basically. He was like the Lex Luthor of the show, right? You knew that he was the final boss, and that's what I loved about him. He was very prominent in season 1, kind of pulled back a bit for season 2 and 3, whilst in it still. But then you knew that final season was going to be those two versus each other.
Yeah, Burton, that was his name. Burton was like Kai's right-hand man.
And you had oh man, I've pulled it up because I remember all the names. Sugar, Job. Yes. Honestly,
Job was my favorite.
Job was so good. Oh,
so good.
Yeah, honestly, man, watch Banshee.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my eye on that.
We should put that on an episode. Do an episode of Banshee.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd have to rewatch it now, but yeah, it was brilliant. So yeah, I probably would rewatch it for this. So, right, The Boys. What do you guys think? I know you guys are a bit behind, but what do you think of that? Did you think it looks good?
Yeah, I mean that was action packed, man. That looks like it's going to be an exciting season.
Yeah, looks like a lot of the same. A lot of it's us versus them. So
yeah.
But now it's no more in the shadow. It's not in the shadows anymore. Like what you guys had seen up to is still in the shadows. Now it's just all out there.
I was going to say, Carl Urban looks like he's had a pretty mad upgrade. You know? Yeah. I didn't expect him to be doing that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Oh yeah. All right, next trailer.
Shit.
Back again.
My God, he stabbed her! Not her! My pronouns are they, them. He stabbed them!
We back.
There's a serial killer on the loose.
Hello, Tuesday.
I had been preparing for this for years.
Hello, Mother. You look like shit.
Should we hug? I really want to, but I'm a Republican now, so I'm supposed to be racist.
Oh, girl, I think all white people are racist anyway. Come here.
Okay. Oh.
Hey there. We heard tell of a Halloween party. We're here to drink, play bad music, do some half gay shit.
Why just half gay?
Stop smiling!
Oh, weapons. Substance.
Mom, Santa gave me a severed arm. Be sure to thank him. What the? Somebody help!
Bitch, we on break. So you handle yours. I'll be right over here eating my falafel and my pork rinds. Bitch.
Scary Movie is the first of only 2 movies I have ever walked out of the theater halfway through. So, scary movie franchise is not for me. Like, walked out after the first movie, and I was like, no, I'm not doing this.
I've only ever seen the first scary movie, and I was a lot younger then. I was like early 20s, and I've not seen any of the others. But I remember, you wouldn't know this, Tom, but my parents got a caravan, one of those static mobile homes. And when I was like early 20s, I used to go down there all the time with a load of friends.
Oh, nice.
And I just remember there was like 15, 20 of us sitting in my parents' caravan on a cold Saturday night in March. Caravan site just opened up. We were drinking, we were having a good time, put a scary movie on. We were dying. Like, and I've never really been interested in the franchise like at all. But I watched this the other day and I was like, I'm going to watch this. This actually looks like it could be funny.
No.
I think it looks stupid as hell, but
it's a hard pass for me. No.
I think all those movies are, that's what they are. They're stupid, silly movies. You know, I was actually the perfect age for them. I'm more familiar with the first two than any of the other franchise, but because I was like literally a child when they came out, I think I was the perfect age range for that type of comedy at that time. So they're a little bit, it's like a little bit fond memories of, like you said, nights with friends watching comedies. But I'm not too sure about this new one. Just I feel like it's a product of its time in the 2000s. I don't know if it lands in 2026, but I do love the Wayans brothers. So I'm always,
I loved a lot of the modern. I loved the lot of modern references that they had. Like Weapons was in there, The Substance was in there. Get Out was in there. Obviously they brought in Scream again, but
Megan.
Hey?
Megan?
Oh, Megan, Meg 2.0 or what, Meg or whatever, I apparently they want to cancel culture. That's what this is about. So we'll see.
They can have it. That's not for me. I'm not going to say it's like terrible or awful. It's not for me.
Yeah.
Do you know, I'm not normally a scary movie person. I've had no interest in it at all. But I watched this the other day and I was like, this is funny. Like, and I wouldn't normally say that. I think that franchise is not for me at all. But there was parts of it where I did laugh.
I'll definitely give it a watch, I'm sure. But I'm skeptical about the result.
That could be a good summary there, Tom. Right. We are now at the point, we're at the halfway point, and we now jump into our main event. Our main event is sponsored by Tom. Right. Spoiler alert, in case you haven't seen a 19-year-old film now. Well, and look, there is a chance somebody, there's always going to be a chance that somebody hasn't seen a 19-year-old film. However, we are going to talk about it. We are going to ruin it, and we're going to break it down, discuss it, and we're going to go through what our favorite bits were, what our not so favorite bits were, and we'll probably talk about who dies, who doesn't die, and who the murderer is. So you've been warned.
Ruining it all.
You've been warned. Right, before we jump into some bits and pieces, here's a lovely little poster. By the way, this is a scanned poster, not from me. I looked it up deliberately. This is like the old kind of posters you used to get in like video shops. I just thought that would be cool.
That's pretty cool.
Here you go, Jasmine. Hit us up.
All right. So here we have Disturbia from 2007, directed by DJ Caruso, written by Christopher Landon and Carl Ellsworth. You got your cinematographer as Roger Stofers and your editor as Jim Page, composer for the music, Jeb Zanelli.
And
as for our cast, very, very indicative of 2007. We've got Kale. First of all, who names their kid Kale? I am assuming they don't say it in the film, but like I am assuming this family is from California. Like, why is your kid's name Kale? Anyway, Kale is played by Shia LaBeouf. Ashley, who is the neighbor, played by Sarah Romare. Ronald, who is the best friend, played by Aaron Yu. David Morse is the bad guy. He plays Robert Turner. And then Julie, who is Shia's mom, played by Carrie-Anne Moss, our favorite Trinity from The Matrix. She actually filmed this like 5 months after having her second kid. So she was right off of maternity leave when she started filming this film.
Oh, wow.
Well, so I will now pull us back to the main screen, and that is it for that little spreadsheet, little presentation. Before we go any further, actually, Jasmine, I forget, it's been a while. Did you want to do your facts?
Oh, yes. Okay, fun facts. So, fun facts about Disturbia. So basically, this movie is kind of based off of Rear Window, which was a Hitchcock film from 1954. However, the copyright holder of the short story that Rear Window is based on sued the production of Disturbia when this movie came out. And in 2010, a federal judge was like, nah, bruh, like, it's not that similar. Like, they changed up enough stuff that you don't get to sue them for copyright infringement. So basically, the case was thrown out, but the production kind of pointed out, like, we changed the setting, we changed the story, we made it about teenagers. It's not about like an adult photographer. Like they basically changed enough that a judge was like, I'll let it slide. So that lawsuit was thrown out. But fun fact, Universal and Paramount did both of these. So Paramount did Rear Window in the 50s, and Paramount also did Disturbia. During filming, I thought this was super interesting. The guy who plays Turner, which David Morse, and if you've not seen him in anything else, like David Morse always plays this guy. Like he always plays this character. He is always super creepy, so weird, and just out there. But apparently, he is very much like a method actor, which I did not know. So while they were filming this movie, he did not talk to the teenagers. Like he did not talk to the young cast, period, while they were filming. And he said he did that because like he wanted to keep that tension really high for whenever they actually were on screen together. So between takes or anything like that, like he just did not talk to them on set. Also, there was one scene, I'm not sure if it was in the movie or not, but like there was a scene where he was doing something with Shia LaBeouf. He hit his hand on the wall to emphasize a point. He broke 3 fingers. And Shia LaBeouf was like, everybody could see that his fingers were broken. So we stopped filming. Everybody's like, oh my God, are you okay? He's like, I'm fine. Let's just keep going. And everybody was like, are you sure? Like, are you okay? Like, yeah. So he really got into character. Shia LaBeouf actually did some research before taking on this role. He talked to quite a few people that had been under house arrest. And he said one of the people that he talked to actually gave him the idea to build the Twinkie Tower that he built in the film. But he said, I'm not going to say it's harder than jail, but it is tough. House arrest is hard because everything is still available and that temptation sucks. So he said, I really tried to play up the torture of it, of having the access, but also not having the access. So I thought that was super interesting. And because Shia LaBeouf is Shia LaBeouf, the director gave him like a lot of leeway in some of the scenes. So the entire sequence when they are fishing, him and his dad at the very, very beginning of the film, that entire sequence is improvised between Shia LaBeouf and the actor that plays his father. So the story about like, oh, I got a girl pregnant, I'm going to move to Reno, I don't know how this is going to work, all of that was totally improvised. Also, the sequence where his mom scares the crap out of him when he's like using the binoculars to stare at his neighbor, that entire sequence was improvised between Carrie-Anne Moss and Shia LaBeouf. So Caruso gave him a lot of leeway to just kind of be like, do what you do. He also told him, we really want to make this about the times. So he was like, if you feel like there's any lingo that you could add that makes it feel more young adults or teenager-ish, by all means, please go ahead and do that. So again, lots of freedom there to kind of do his own thing.
I read that they got on so well that they made, was it Eagle Eye afterwards together?
They did make.
Yeah.
Eagle Eye was really good.
Yeah.
Also, this movie was originally rated R. They said the tension and the violent scenes were too much. So production appealed the MPAA to get it down to that PG-13 rating so that it could open to more theaters, which obviously helped them a lot because I think this movie had like a a $20 million budget and it made 117. So it made its money back, which is much harder to do when you're an R-rated film. Also, I did not know that you could appeal a rating. So they originally got that R rating, and then they were like, hold on a minute. Here's why we should not be rated R. So they got that reversed. And very similar theme to, I don't know if you remember this one, but they had a Fright Night remake that came out a few years after this. It was 2011 with Anton Yelchin and Colin Farrell. And very, very similar vibes here with kid spying on his neighbor and then goes into his house and finds like this horror story going on in the house. Also, for the role of Robert Turner, and this was back in his heyday when Nip Tuck was huge, but Dylan Walsh was considered up for the role of the neighbor, but David Morse got it instead, which I think David Morse is much creepier than Dylan Walsh.
Oh yeah, I don't think Dylan Walsh is creepy at all.
Yeah, Dylan Walsh is like the dad next door. Like he would be the guy to be like, "Yo, I need some help." Not the guy that every time he comes out of his house, you want to run the other direction.
He would have been good for the dad that died at the beginning. That would have been it.
Right.
So he would not have been.
Yeah.
Man, I was a huge fan of Nip Tuck back in the day. I never finished it off. I think the last season or two, I forgot to. Well, I don't know what happened. Was it? I think it was the last season or two. There was a delay or something, and then I just never went back to it. Something like that.
I never finished the final season either. So I'm not sure.
I think I remember it came out around the time I was getting married, and I dropped off loads of TV shows at the time, and and then that was one of the ones I never went back to. But Nip Tuck back in the day was good. I know I've just changed the subject there from Disturbia. So I would love to. Well, normally what we do is we whiz around and like ask people's initial thoughts of the film. But what I would like to do, Tom, is find out. Sorry, before I ask this question, before we came up with today's show, I asked Tom, as it's his first time ever on Geeks Unleashed, to give me a list of some of his favorite movies. And Tom is a huge horror fan. So I said, could you also vary that up a little bit? Because me and Jasmine are not particularly huge horror fans. So whilst I don't mind the odd one, it's not a favorite genre of mine. Over the last few years, I have started to dabble in it a little bit more. I was very brave last year and went and saw weapons on my own, which is a little bit freaky. And then I've started to get into a few more things over the last few years, but I'm easing in gently. So I said, Tom, spice that list up a little bit, and then we kind of broke his list down, and we all agreed to go with Disturbia. But Tom, I'd love to know what makes this one of your favorite films.
I think, the important thing is it's just time period when I first watched it, informative years, you know what I mean? As a kind of a young teen, and there's certain films that you watch in that time period, and for whatever reason, they stick with you kind of for the rest of your lives. And this is one of those where at this point is borderline comfort food, And don't get me wrong, I think I mentioned to you, around that time, Shia LaBeouf was killing it, and I was the right age, even Stevens and Holes, and then it just kind of, we just kept following them as we grew up, Transformers and even into Eagle Eye. So always a fan, so that probably helped hook me into the film, and I just think it's a great film as well. So yeah, I thought it would be, I think it is a good choice, like you say. It's straying away from the horror, although I think it does have, I think you'd agree, maybe it does have some moments. For sure. Yeah, it has some moments there. But no, I think it stuck with me over the years. So that there's that movie magic, something that just sticks on you when you first watch it. So yeah, I was curious to ask, based off of one of the facts that Jasmine mentioned about the lawsuit. I'm just wondering, have any of you guys ever seen Rear Window? I haven't seen it myself. I was just curious to see if anyone.
No, I haven't. It's made me.
I have.
Yeah. Okay.
Are there any kind of? I mean, I know the core similarities of the fact that the two movies have a character who's spying on neighbors, but are there any other similarities that you found at all, or
I mean, it's just kind of the same thing. Like the main character gets injured, and so his leg is in a cast, and so he can't do much. And I think he was a photographer, if I'm remembering correctly. It's been a while since I've seen it, and it's just kind of boredom when he's bored. So he starts like using some of his photography stuff to spy on neighbors, and then he just like starts putting together these theories where it's kind of like, oh, I think so and so is doing this, and so is doing that. So.
It sounds interesting. I was debating giving it a watch when I read about that lawsuit. I was thinking, so I was just wondering how similar. Obviously,
I think it's good. As far as like Hitchcock films go, I would probably put Rear Window as my second favorite behind the Birds.
Okay. I've seen the Birds. Bird is great, but maybe I should get around to Rear Window then. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I haven't watched it, but I've seen this trope though used in lots of TV shows. Like, you know, when you back in the day, like especially in the 90s and the early 2000s, you just get 22 episode shows.
Yeah.
I've seen this trope used quite a lot where one of the characters is stuck in a room or a hospital room. Hospital rooms are quite common, and they're spotlight out the window, and they eventually have seen something that did happen. So they've obviously ripped off Rear Window several times over the years. I've got a feeling, like, I could be wrong, but I've got a feeling like Lois and Clark or something like that used it in an episode. It could be wrong about Lois and Clark, but I've got a feeling it's somebody very Terry Hatcher-esque, I'm sure, did this in the 90s in a TV show. I'd have to look it up, but this trope is very familiar to me, the whole looking out the window and seeing something.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a film, Sliver, with one of the Baldwins, Billy Baldwin, I think, and Sharon Stone. And that was pretty much what it was. Like, they lived in this high-rise apartment building, and he had all of these cameras where he was spying on other people's lives. And yeah, so it was very like, but it was super R-rated, like R-rated Rear Window-esque kind of stuff. But yeah, that's a big trope in a lot of films, especially like any kind of stalker film.
It's true.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on, Oh yeah, I've looked it up. There's a few films that have used it: Rear Window, Disturbia, The Woman in the Window, Body Double. Oh, here we go. There was a Simpsons episode used it. Yeah. Anyway, there's a few people that have used this trope over the years. Right. Just before we move on to all of our stuff, you mentioned something that I wanted to jump on here. What made part of it was from the time in your life, and I think that's where a lot of our favorite films come from, like nostalgia. I always reference Back to the Future, which was on your list as well.
Yeah.
But is anything about this movie maybe impacted you at all? Maybe nothing has, but just curious.
No, I think it's
or impacted your taste in films, maybe.
That's where I was kind of going.
Yeah.
I think like it's one of those earlier films outside of the horror genre where I was like, okay, I've thoroughly enjoyed this. And yeah, that's made me kind of dive into more thrillers over the years. One of like sci-fi and thriller have also almost like these kind of off-branch genres for me. Like obviously there's always, you can get horror sci-fis and you can get tense thriller horror, so they feel safe enough to kind of float over to. So yeah, I think that opened my eyes to that kind of early on.
Mm-hmm.
If you really, really like Disturbia, have you seen What Lies Beneath?
No, I've heard good things about that though.
Okay, very similar concept, but it also has some similar elements. It's a little bit closer to horror because that one is based on like, I won't say visions, but like it's definitely a lot creepier. But
right.
What Lies Beneath is, I think that's something that you would like if you're on that line between thriller and horror. Like, I would put that on the list.
Oh, considered that added to the watch list. Yeah. Is that does that have who's starring? Is that Harrison Ford?
Michelle Pfeiffer and Michael Douglas, I believe.
Right. Yeah, I've heard about it over the years. So yeah, that's a good reminder to get that one ticked off.
Yeah, it's Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, Harrison Ford, my bad.
That's all right. We'll forgive you. It came out 26 years ago.
Yeah.
Come on, Jasmin.
My memory is not what it used to be.
I didn't know. I had to look it up. As I probably have to look up anything that's more than about 2 years old now. I'm getting old now. Right. Do either of you feel though that this movie has any? I don't necessarily, but an impact on the industry. I felt like when I was watching it, even though it came out in 2007, I felt like I was watching a 90s movie, like it felt like a very 1990s movie to me.
I think it feels like a teenager kind of movie.
Yeah.
Maybe I wouldn't say like 90s, but it definitely feels like that 17-year-old, like last days of summer kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like what Tom was saying, I liked this film at the time because it was like Shia LaBeouf on the come up.
Mm-hmm.
So it was right before Transformers, right before like the big summer of 2008. So I don't know. I don't think it had much impact. Like, this is a very middle of the road film as far as industry standards go. They didn't do anything special. There was nothing too different about any of the effects or anything like that they used, but it felt very indicative of the times. Like, I think anybody that was around that same age back then would feel like, oh, this could have been me and my friends. I think it had that vibe to it.
100%. I also interesting to see Jasmin mentioned the budget and how much profit it made. You know, it's interesting to see where the industry was at that point. I'm not sure if it makes that much money now, if that releases today, you know. So it's interesting to see where the industry is. And another thing I saw, I didn't realize that Spielberg was attached to this movie as a producer. And I did a little reading, and apparently he just had he wanted to try and build Shia LaBeouf as a star or a leading man. So this was one of the films that he used to kind of help try and build him up. So he was involved in. I never knew that, and you know, after watching all these years, so I found that
because right after this, he also did the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah. So for whatever reason, Spielberg was kind of trying to help levitate Shia LaBeouf's career, but. Interesting. It feels like the movie was. I don't know, like, was the movie? Was that what the movie was made out of? Like, we need to get Shia LaBeouf a leading man role. I'd like to dig more into that and find out, like, if that had an effect on even the creation of, you know, that idea of making the film. You know,
I think he was at the time. He was touted to be the next It Kid because he was one of those Disney kids that was aging out of the Disney demographic, and they were like, he's charismatic and he's good and he's, you know, like, what else can we do with him? And unfortunately, Shia LaBeouf just got a little too into his own way. But I think that he could have been like the next big thing.
Yeah.
And he just derailed that for himself.
Which is it's such a shame as well, because in this movie especially, you see, like you said, a lot of that charisma and comedy, and there's monologues as well where he's showing his acting, and I just feel like he delivered.
He was talented. He's really talented, and you could see it. Like, even in Holes, as like a child, he was very charismatic, and he was a scene stealer. So it was just it's really unfortunate to see what happened after that. I want to say it was by the third Transformers film, and he was like the alcohol problems and like showing up to set with broken bones, and everybody was like, "What are you doing, dude?"
Well, I saw pictures of him the other day. I think it was in New Orleans or something, in a hotel, and he's like just walking around, just staring at people, starting trouble. I was just like, looking at him in this film, like you just said, the charisma, and I used to enjoy his films when he was in it. I used to think he was a fun actor to watch. You know, he was sort of very multi-layered, and he handled comedy. He could run a film, and just. I think sometimes the fame and everything, it gets to them, and I think it's just become too much for him to handle. And I just don't think his brain, from what I can see as an outsider, like that he can't process where he is, and he needs to go.
He's just one of those child actors that didn't recover from being a child actor, unfortunately. You know, like shitty things happen to him as a really young kid, and I think it's just there's so few people that come back from that, and like. The only person that usually comes to mind for me is like Drew Barrymore was able to turn it all around and be different than what her childhood had laid out for her. But like a lot of those kids just.
I think Macaulay Culkin, whilst he's not starring in as much, I know he was in the Fallout TV series season 2, but he's managed to turn things around. He comes across as very stable and very grounded now.
He is,
I know he went wild, but he's turned it around. Shia LaBeouf doesn't seem to be able to turn it around. He just
it's sad. You know, there's a lot of footage that come out recently. I think I think he had a long weekend in Louisiana by the sound of it. I think he got beat up and arrested. And
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, it is sad to see. But it's one of those situations, and it's probably hard to navigate, to be honest.
So to bring it back to 2007, I used to do this actually. I'll sort of do it again now. I used to shout out what else came out that year. So to bring you back to 2007, No Country for Old Men.
Oh,
There will.
So
I know,
good.
I know. There will be blood.
So good.
Zodiac.
Oh my god, that is still to this day the creepiest. Like, what do you call it? It's not. I mean, it's not like based on true story, yes, but like, I don't know, for whatever reason, Zodiac has stuck with me since I watched it. But there is one murder scene in Zodiac that just makes my skin crawl like no other movie has ever done. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, the sound of the people getting stabbed in that sequence, it's haunting. Zodiac was a phenomenal film about the Zodiac.
I enjoyed that film. Yeah.
So good.
Just quickly run through a few more here. Superbad, Hot Fuzz, Juno. Hot Fuzz is so good, man. Animation wise, actually, one of them we have not seen, but we have talked about the book in a second. Ratatouille. And me and Jasmin did do a graphic novel review of Persepolis.
Persepolis.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. We haven't watched the film, but we reviewed the graphic novel years ago now. Right. Anyway, there's a lot that came out in 2007, and the reason I like showing that out because it kind of takes your mind back to that time. And as Tom said, 2007, I wasn't married. I was a single guy. I was living at home. I was very much enjoying being a young man. I'm sure I have seen this film, but I rewatched it obviously for the show, and because I said to you guys that I hadn't seen it, but actually the whole time I think it's felt familiar to me, so I'm sure I've watched it. But anyway, before we go any further, then Jasmin, what's your overall thoughts on this film?
Man, I remember I was working in a movie theater when this film came out, and it was just, again, like a sign of the times. It was like, oh, this is so great. Like, all of those actors were up and coming. And at the time I had two jobs when I was living in Los Angeles. And at my like day job, I worked with a guy who was always going up for the same role that Aaron Yu, who played Ronnie, was going up for. So when Disturbia came out, he was really upset because he was like, I read for that role 3 times and they still picked him. And I was like, sorry, like, I don't know what to tell you. So he would always get mad at me when I was like, oh man, Disturbia, it's so good. And he's like, no, it's not. It's a terrible film. And I was like, I'm sorry, sorry that you think that. But like, it has a special place in my heart, I think, just because like 2007 to 2009 was like a really fun, stressful, but fun time for me. So I don't know. It was just like a lot of fun back then. And especially just like the hype around Shia LaBeouf. I think he was like the it kid at that time. So it was just, it was just like a fun popcorn movie. Like I would consider it, I mean, box office says otherwise, but I would definitely consider it like a blockbuster popcorn film.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm sure I have watched this. I didn't remember watching it, but I rewatched it yesterday. I just remembered I didn't put it on my letterbox, Tom.
Schoolboy error. Come on, man.
I watched this film and I was quite shocked by how brutal the dad gets killed in the beginning. I was like, shit. Because I didn't remember any of it. I didn't know what happened to the dad. And that thing at the beginning where the car goes up in the air, flips over, the dad lands, sees the car coming straight at him. I was like, shit. And at the beginning, when Shia LaBeouf gets in the classroom and pops the teacher, I didn't see that coming either. Obviously it was very Andrew Garfield Spider-Man at the beginning. He went into his emo mode for a little bit there. And I'm glad that we didn't stick with emo. What's his name? Kale. Emo Kale would have been. I'm glad that we didn't have a film of Emo Kale. And the whole. We obviously needed something to make him locked down in the house and that he couldn't leave. And it was good that they came up with a different plot device that wasn't a broken leg. And I think if we had the broken leg, it would have limited the fun in the movie. For instance, the run-in and the best scenes in almost like some of the greatest moments in this film are just him jumping on poo that's on fire and then running after those 2 boys. And but we wouldn't have had any of that stuff. We wouldn't have had all this sort of slapstick stuff and that we got. I think taking away and limiting his ability to move around freely, as we've said, he kind of owns the scene, and having all 4 limbs gave him gave him sort of, I don't know, that versatility during the movie. And so I'm glad they played around with that dynamic and didn't have the typical broken leg. I've seen, like I said, I've seen that used in other things too. But yeah, whilst watching it, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun movie. I felt it took me back to my childhood a little bit. I was like, damn, I wish I had a girl living like that when I was younger. When I lived at home, my parents, my house, my parents, such a good house. Shame they don't have it anymore. It was a 5-bedroom house with the longest garden that went on, felt like, for miles. I used to throw the best garden parties. But next door, I had 2 old people living next to me. I say old, they were like seriously old. Yeah. Where were those blonde girls that shared a view next to him? And we had no swimming pools either, none of that stuff. So when I was watching that, I did think, how cool would it be to be like early 20s again and enjoy those moments. But yeah, no, this is, like you say, it's a film, Tom, of your youth, and I appreciated it because the technology as well, the
flip phones,
camcorders, the flip phones. I never had a flip phone,
oh my god, I had 2 flip phones.
I had a Morpheus phone.
I definitely had a flip phone back in the day.
Yeah, do you remember the Morpheus phone where you press the button and it shot down?
No,
from Matrix. In the first Matrix when.
Yes, I do remember those. Now I never had one of those, so I had 2 flip phones, and then I went to BlackBerry.
Oh, okay. I never had a BlackBerry. No, that's a lie. I had a BlackBerry for work for a little bit about 10 years ago. Other than that, I never had a BlackBerry. Everyone used to think they were so cool with their BlackBerries and their BM Messenger or whatever it was called. Watching this, man, taking me back to the technology wise, especially the technology where it was like having to rewind and all the rest of it, and it was all blurry, but somehow it got into focus when he zoomed in on the dead woman in the grill. I thought, that bit suddenly worked well. I don't know. And also the soundtrack as well. I know we had some System.
I was going to mention, the music's very, very like of its time, and a lot of great tracks on there for sure.
Oh yeah. So
also, overall, Viola Davis, and like not even a real supporting role.
I forgot that she was in it.
How long ago this was?
Let's got Viola Davis in there. I was like, man, how to get away with murder? And she's in like 3 scenes in the film. She owned those scenes.
Definitely.
But overall, I really loved it. I thought this was a really fun movie. The only thing I would have liked, if I was to be overly critical of it, was the neighbor, who's obviously the sort of serial killer. We get no real backstory of him, or there's no. I get it that the whole point is he really a serial killer? Like, we're watching, we're seeing elements of his life, and there's obviously a little build up to it because we get the misleading thing of the dead deer, but there's nothing. I don't know. I'd like to have seen a bit more to it. He just suddenly turns and throws the mum against the wall. And then the next thing we know, he's in the house with like a baseball bat or something and trying to take them all out. Obviously, something must have clocked in his mind that maybe the video camera picked something up, but we never really get any overall backstory at the end. That's probably my only bit I would like to have seen more of. But other than that, I think it's actually a really enjoyable movie. So,
yeah, I think, if I was being critical as well, I think maybe, like the start of the film with the dad, it's obviously kind of the emotional backbone of Shia's character. There's moments where Sarah's character is trying to get a bit more out of him, but he's hesitant to discuss anything that he's struggling with, his issues and things like that. And I think like they were subtle with that. I thought they could have lent a little bit more on that if they were maybe trying to just bring a little bit of emotional substance to the movie. But like you said, it is a teen movie at the same time, so they were probably thinking like, a bit more on the back burner with that. But that's maybe one thing. But also they made being on house arrest look like really fun at first. Like I was like, right, I better smack my teacher then. But luckily, Carrie-Anne Moss then starts cutting cables and and then you start to dives into the isolation and stuff like that. So there's a lot of cool themes in there.
She took away. The thing is, though, I think a lot of those things are very well planned for the writing. he doesn't just naturally start spying on his neighbors. Initially, he's being a brat. He's been a bit of a jerk. He's laying around, being a moody prick, and he's just sitting there playing, watching films, messy room, watching TV, whatever. And then the mum is like, "Nah, I'm going to cut the cable." So then she's removed something for him to do. So boredom starts to set in, like building the Twinkie Tower. And actually, if you're restricted by, a tiny radius around your house, you've got to then come up with things to do. And this film works very well again for the time it's in, because if this was set now, she could cut the cable she wants. I've got an iPad, I've got 2 mobile phones, would have felt, it's like if my mum cut my cable or my TV, I'd be like, well, it's fine, I've got my phone. I'll just watch Netflix on my mobile. So I know you could say, well, give me your phone then, but there'll be other ways to do stuff, like there'll be other entertainment that's available to you. And back then, I know he had a TV in his room, but a lot of people didn't even have more than one TV back then. So I think this movie works well also of its time. It would be interesting if they did one now, how they would get around the modern ways of technology, because taking away, Carry On West's character taking away things for him to do, then allows naturally and organically the boredom to set in, which I think is good. It wasn't forced. It wasn't, oh, I don't know, I'm bored of my TV. No teenager's going to say that. So and then it allowed, I think there's certain elements I liked as well where the boredom sets in. We've got the kids punking him, and then he's starting to get bored, and I recognize some of this where he starts ringing around some of his friends, like, "Oh, what are you up to?" And I thought sometimes when I was younger, I was like, "Oh, I'm bored, man. What do I do? Just ring a friend and chat to them and see what they're doing." And then he gets his mate Ronnie round, and then it creates a nice little trio between him and the girl next door, and they actually felt like a real organic, natural friendship group. It didn't feel forced, and I think that links to what Jasmin said earlier about the director giving them free reign to ad lib and use their own words. They felt like a natural group of friends to me. So
100%. I did actually want to shout out Ronnie, because I feel like when he enters the fray, I suppose, I don't know, he brings extra something to it. He lifts the film up a little bit, the energy comes through. I really love this character.
Oh, he creates one of the best moments when in the cupboard.
Yes.
Oh my god, I would have punched him in the face.
Yeah,
I would have punched him in the face. Like when he said, "I thought you were dead," I was like, yes, I felt that.
He was like, "Look, what was I going to say to the cops?" He's like, which he had a point. What was he going to say?
No,
but honestly, he's like,
but that was a step too far.
When he texts him going, "Turn on your TV," and then you just see him lean back, and I was like, because I obviously couldn't remember the film. I was like, initially I went with it thinking, fuck man, this guy's now playing games next door, like the neighbors playing games on TV, and then he eventually goes to the cupboard. I was like, man, that's the kind of shit I would have done back then. I would have punked my friends like that. So yeah, I've got some good stories of when we punked each other. This is the thing, I think, Tom, I don't know about you, but when we were younger, men or obviously we weren't men back then, but boys, men, whatever, will happily punk each other and still be friends the next day.
100%.
Where I always think with women, it's not so easy to punk each other. They get a little bit precious over it. And some of our best moments were just completely ruining each other's lives.
Secondary school over here was pretty brutal at times, not gonna lie.
I won't go into too much of it, but one of my friends decided to strip off at one point or another. We grabbed his clothes and ran. He's running down the street, chasing us. Oh, it was a great moment in our lives. So not his, but no, we laughed about it afterwards. But I was 21, something like that. And you do these things to each other. So, right. Look, guys, a shout out, a favorite moment of mine with the Ronnie thing. I think that's probably one of my favorite moments throughout the film. Jasmin, have you got any favorite moments?
Just when Ronnie comes back from Hawaii and Shia's like, "You got to see this. and he has like this whole scenario built out for the whole neighborhood. And he's like, that guy is cheating on his wife. This neighbor is doing this.
Yeah.
That neighbor is doing that. And Ronnie is like, dude, what have you been doing like this whole summer? I just thought that was hilarious because I was like, what else would you do? Like you would have to start making up stories about people, and then you would just like wait around to see if the stories are true. Like, so I felt like that was definitely somebody who had too much time on their hands. Like if you don't have access to anything else, like, yeah, you're going to be looking out the window and seeing what you see. And then the kid riding on the tricycle in his underwear down the street, that was something that Steven Spielberg said he wanted to add to the film. So like that frantic mom that comes running down the street and Shia is just do it that way. That was all at Steven Spielberg's suggestion. But like just noticing what you notice, because like me and my friends do this. Like we still do this to this day. If I'm at a restaurant and like there's a table a few tables down where people look really awkward, we will sit there and we will be like, what are they talking about? And we literally make up a story about the people that we see across the restaurant. Like, and I was like, I would totally, if I was under house arrest, like I would have a story for every single neighbor that I could see out of my window. So I thought that scene was really just like honest, like, because what else would you be doing when you're home alone all the time?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. What about you, Tom?
Yeah, I'd say, I think actually the final act, like there's so much, like it's all building up throughout the film, you know, like you said, is he or isn't he? And you're getting closer and closer. And like you pointed out, that moment where, I mean, he gets across the house real quick, but he's just, you know, dealt with Shia LaBeouf's mother, and he darts across the house and the bat goes round Ronnie's head, and it all kicks off. And I think that's when yeah, the action all packs in. And yeah, I really enjoyed those moments. Shia LaBeouf, as we know, he's always ready for some good action sequences. And yeah, also a subtle moment that I didn't notice in prior viewings, and it's only subtle, but I think it's the moment where he's first about to spy on his female neighbor, and there's this moment where he kind of looks in, but then he kind of looks down, and he's having this kind of internal dialogue, and then he goes straight back to it. But I don't know, when, you know, spying on people, you know, that's a creepy thing to do, isn't it? So it's like,
yeah.
When your film's kind of based around that, I think, like, yeah, you did have to have that moment to say, like, no, we are dealing with a character who does have, you know, good morals and values, but is in a bit of a predicament, is in a bit of a situation. And yeah, so it was a little subtle thing, but I was like, right, that makes sense. Actually, that tells me a lot more for such a little subtle moment.
Well, that's a good thing to shout out there, because I think there's certain characters that are meant to be the good guys, so to speak, of the film, that do something that isn't a good guy thing to do, because of their own selfishness. A film that what's his name? Chris. It's one of the Chris's. Chris Pratt. Where in Passengers with Jennifer Lawrence, where he decides to get her out of the tube because of his own boredom and isolation. He's sort of, yeah, kind of like a good guy, other than one incident where he decides to also ruin her life for his own selfishness, because he's been on his own now for like a year, and he's like, I can't deal with it anymore, and wake someone else up. And and there was a lot of hesitation and discussing it with the barman and dwelling on it before he eventually makes that thing. And yeah, that's quite a key point to mention there, like where he the internal monologue of, can I spy? Look, we all probably are guilty, like Jasmin said, looking across a restaurant and spying on people.
Yeah.
But to do that, essentially, he made it his life. It became his job to spy on his neighbors.
To be fair, I do it only in public places. I don't do it privately.
I mean, he was posted up with the popcorn. He was ready to have a session. You know,
it was like his favorite TV show. Like he made a whole like showing of it. Yeah.
I mean, he could have just rewired that TV and been done with all of this.
Different movie.
Yeah. Hey.
Hi, Sheena.
Hi, Sheena. Yeah, if he'd have reached, you know, when the mum cut the plug, I thought, well, if that was me, I would have just like gone and got a knife and then cut back the thing and then rewired it back into the plug when she was gone, and I would have been done with it. I wouldn't have needed those binoculars, but then he wouldn't have saved all those people's lives. Look, one of my other favorite scenes though was when he was chasing those kids out and the neighbors are all moving in. So he's like running out and all the rest of it, and it's all craziness. And then these people are moving in next door, and his legs beeping, and you're thinking, can you imagine like new neighbors? You're moving in, and your neighbors run out, and he's got a tag around his ankle. And you're probably thinking, who the heck have I moved in next to?
I
thought that
would
was
be
great.
just like that mom, and I would be like, "Don't talk to that kid. What is wrong with you? Stay away from that house."
Yeah, definitely, 100%. So yeah, look, overall, I enjoyed it. And I think it's time that we go around the room and we rate it out of 5, Tom. Now, I might go to Tom last, but Jasmine, what would you rate it out of 5?
All right, this one I'm gonna have to do 2. Like 2007, Jasmine watching this film, it's a 5. Like for me, it was a 5 out of 5. Like it was great tension. It was very timely. Like it made sense back then. Now I would probably give it like a 3.5. So take that rating how you will, but like 2007, this gets a 5, and in 2026, so 3.5.
I feel like now I would be 3.5 myself out of 5. I enjoyed, and when I was watching it, I honestly felt like this film's very familiar, and I think there's very much a lot of appreciation because I'm from when this came out. You can imagine now a 16-year-old not enjoying this as much. But for me, this was a film, like Tom said, growing up, and I probably would have rated it higher, but I'm a 3.5 as well. Tom, it's one of your favorites.
It's one of my favorites, guys, and based solely off of like nostalgia and a lot of biasism. It's a 4.5 out of 5. I just actually rated it on Letterboxd today, so I love it. It'll probably get watched maybe 1 or 2 times more this year. So yeah,
oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a 3.1. It's like I said, it's easy. It's easy. Got a lot of replay value to me.
Mm-hmm. I think it's definitely rewatchable for sure.
Yeah.
Do you know what it did though? It made me want to rewatch some of Shia LaBeouf's earlier films. I think that Eagle Eye, I only think I watched it the once, but I do remember really enjoying it. I thought it was a really fantastic film. It makes me think I wish I could go and find Shia LaBeouf and just kick his ass and say, "Come on, sort your life." Not like that, but just give it, the parental touch. Sort your life out. Come on, man. What do you need, man? Do you need a hug? What is it like? I'd love to see him doing more stuff. I just don't know if Hollywood
You got to go watch that movie that he did, the semi-autobiographical film that he did. What was it called? Baby something.
Driver?
No, not Baby Driver. But he did a film where he played his father.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
okay.
The small kid in the film was supposed to be him, and it just it tells you about how in your face his dad used to be and how much pressure he would put on Shia. And I think that's also indicative of the times where it was those Hollywood parents would just expect their kid to become the breadwinner. And it's no 9-year-old has the wherewithal to carry that weight on their shoulders.
Was it called Honey Boy?
Yes, Honey Boy. That's what it's called.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I've not seen
You've
that.
got to watch, and then you might have a different opinion on Shia and the way that he's acting out now. I feel like he just has not dealt with it in a healthy way, but I don't think it comes from nowhere.
Oh yeah, no, I've not seen it. I maybe I'll watch it at some point. But yeah, no, obviously I loved him in the Transformers films. He was fun in those films, I enjoyed.
100%. Great.
Yeah.
Leader.
Oh yeah. So, right. He was also in Constantine. I forgot about that. It was a smaller role.
Also, Constantine has a post-credit scene. I didn't know that the first 10 times I watched Constantine. I didn't realize that until 5 years ago that Constantine had a post-credit scene.
What was the post-credit scene?
That's pretty early.
Shia LaBeouf is in the post-credit scene, because his character dies in Constantine, and then in the post-credit scene, John is visiting his grave, and Shia is an angel.
I didn't know this either. I didn't think I knew this.
Hey, Fable. Yeah, he is the post-credit scene. Chaz, that was his name in Constantine. I just watched Constantine 2 weeks ago. I love that movie. But I have to watch Constantine during the day, and I always skip over the first 15 minutes because I hate the exorcism scene. It creeps me out with that little girl at the very beginning.
I'm gonna have to I'll have to rewatch Constantine. I did not know about the thing. Right, okay. We're gonna now wrap this up. Okay, so next week we are taking on the massive challenge of doing a 7-movie review in one episode. Don't worry, it's not going to be in detail. We are doing an episode that I have been discussing doing this for probably, well, quite a long time. The Scream franchise. We are going to discuss all 7 films. We're going to talk about our favorite kills, our favorite villains, our favorite good guys, all that stuff. We're going to talk about our favorite movie of them all, and our worst one of them all. Come back next week. Tom is back, Jasmin is back. We've also got lined up a guest. That's right, Big Herm is going to be here next week from Big Herm Collectibles. He's joining us for the Scream franchise review. So if you know who he is, he'll be here next week. You can also follow us on social media. We're on all of them: Instagram, Facebook, etc., and you can come say hello. Tom, look, really appreciate you joining us for your first episode. Jasmin, welcome back, and you love to shout out some stuff at the end if you wanted to.
Oh, do I? It's been a while.
Do you want me to do it? Right, okay. So you can listen to this podcast, if you're listening to it, on your favorite podcasting platform, Podbean, Google, etc. Oh, no, there is no Google anymore. Anywhere else. But please remember to give us a 5-star review and share with your geeky friends.
Yes. Okay, I remember. That sounds very familiar now. Thank you.
Also,
you
Jasmin,
have to work on your American accent, though.
Some Kofi. All right.
That's a very, very good New York accent there. Good job. Good job.
Yeah.
Well, what's the Boston one? Like, doesn't it just normally involve the F word?
I mean, that or they say wicked a lot. I go park the car in Harvard Yard. There you go. That's your Boston
there you
accent.
go. Have you noticed the difference between how me and Tom speak?
Yes and no.
Yeah, we do. We definitely have different accents.
Yeah, I can hear Tom's got a different accent. He's. I can tell it's like, to me, it feels like much more like a Somerset accent.
I don't know what that is, but his accent is softer than yours.
Yeah, I'm London. He's country basically.
Yeah, I'm a bit further down south, and
yeah.
Geographically, I don't know what that means.
You will when I actually manage to get you here.
Okay, I'm working on it. Okay, I'm working on it.
I literally was texting her flights earlier this week.
He sent me. He was like, "I found this one flight. It cost this much. You can come and stay for a month." I was like, "Okay, hold on."
I even said I'd pay half the airfare. I was like, "It'd be." Do you know what? Honestly, like before we go, one last thing before we go, it is so ridiculous. For her to fly here is about 500 quid, but for me to fly to Houston is £1,000.
Oh wow.
It's because, and I looked it up. It's because we get taxed more.
Oh, right, that makes sense.
I think it's just because Americans are desperate to get the hell out of here.
Well, yeah, but also
they're like, hey, we'll give you some cheap airfare so you can go someplace else.
Well, also it's you guys have got more competition for flights. We have less competition, so those are the reasons. So it's cheaper for you to go abroad than it is for us to come to you. So that's insane.
We also have 320 million people here. So
yeah, that's what I mean. There's more people. Yeah. So anyway, right, we're going to end the show, and we will be back next week. So please come join us to talk about one of our favorite franchises. We will go now.
Good journey.